Hi. So one of the comments on my videos the other day, which by the way, I'm loving the interaction and I'm loving when there's commentary, and I want you to know that every morning I look, or when I get a moment, but at least once a day, I go through and I look at all the comments, and if I've missed any, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I've responded to every single comment. And I'm loving the dialogue. I love how people are leaning on each other. I want a communicative effort here, and it's been that, and so I so appreciate that. I really do. One of the comments the other day, somebody said to me, if you knew he was trouble when you walked in, why did you go in? Why did you bother if you knew he was trouble? That's a good question. It's a very good question. Thank you. I thought I could handle him, honestly. I thought it was regular player stuff that I sensed. So I had zero idea of the direction. How could you possibly ever fathom the direction that the relationship went into if you've never experienced it before? And it took the whole cycle before I caught on. And you know, I've told you before, I've dated other narcissists, but I guess I ended it before the cycle really started to kick in. Or maybe, I guess if I look back on some of them, I probably was even in the cycle with some of them and didn't recognize it as such. But this one was the bomb of narcissism. This guy, if there's a picture next to it, he's the picture. He's the picture. But I saw player. And you might say, well, if you were looking for a relationship, why did you date him then? Why did you go in? I wasn't necessarily looking for a relationship. I was getting out there, trying to date a little bit. That's all. I was online. I thought I would try to see if I could date again after the person I had broken up with before him. It had been a while, and I thought, let me get out there and see what it... Day one, I meet this person. Day one. So see, I look at things like they're meant to be. So I always look for signs, and that's how I do things. So to me, that was kind of meant to happen. And I think that I was meant to get that education. I had never heard it before. Don't hear the whispers I've told you. You got to walk right up to me. A lesson has to walk right and punch me in my face for me to learn the lesson. I don't hear whispers. So I think it was finally like, okay, this girl needs to learn this lesson before. If she thinks she's going to be ready for dating, she needs to learn this lesson first. And so that's why that happened to me. And I gained all this education. Before that, I was just trying to play, like date a little bit. So when I say I thought I could handle him, it's because I didn't know my heart was going to get, sucked in and then trampled on, and then I had no idea. I wasn't trying to sign up for that. That happened so fast. It happened when I wasn't even looking. It happened so fast. And then boom, I was in it. Now, if it had just been a regular player guy and I sensed that snake-like thing that you get from a player, I would have been all right with that. All right, I went out with him a few times. It didn't work out. No big deal. I wouldn't have been hurt. He looked like that from a mile away. So when I say he looked like trouble, that's what I mean. He looked like trouble. He looked like a player. He looked like, okay? But I don't think narcissists look like anything. Okay? You can spot a player. We all know what they look like. You can see one a mile away. So now you start to think of all the players you know. Half of them are probably narcissists. But they don't look a certain way. They don't act a certain way from afar. They just look like they're one of the players. Some of those players might be good men once they decide to settle down and get married. If a guy's 30 years old and playing the field and he's not married, is he doing anything wrong? The word player has a bad connotation, but is he doing anything wrong? He's not married. He's trying to figure out his life. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person forever. It just means that time in their life, Maybe they're newly divorced and they're 47 and they're taking 5 years to bounce around the earth and see 9 different people all the time. It doesn't mean they're a narcissist. You see the difference? A narcissist is a very specific breed of people that we've all learned together. If I knew that he was a narcissist, if I even knew what that is, now I do know what that is. So the next time I go to date someone, if I know they're a narcissist going in, oh, I'll squash that. I might have a little fun with the person first, dialectically. Like if it's a dinner and I catch on right away and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like a narcissist a mile away. I might say a couple of things to just play with them a little bit. Like, do you know that you do that to people? Is that a pattern you do? I would say that to somebody on a dinner date. Absolutely. Especially if I know now there's no future here and I'm just going to... I would absolutely question them. That's my plan. I will try to gain information and then take it back to you. I will siphon them for all of their knowledge. Maybe they'd be willing to talk to me. I fully intend to have a conversation if I ever meet another narcissist. I won't see them romantically, but I'll try to get what I can informationally. So that's what I mean. And it was an excellent question. If you think someone's trouble, why do you go in? It depends what kind of trouble they are. Right? I mean, I used the example before of Samantha Jones in Sex and the City. She makes no apologies for being a player. She likes sex. She's not married. She makes whatever choices she wants. She sleeps with whomever she wants. She's not setting anybody up to being in a relationship. She's not making them think she's in love with them. She's doing nothing wrong. Nothing. And there might be a time in your life that you meet somebody and you go to meet them, you're like, oh, they're a player. So maybe that's all you need. Maybe you just want to have fun for a little while. If it starts to turn, then you know they're more than a player and they may be a narcissist. If they start to love bomb you and ask you for a commitment, and you know, that being that the player part of their personality is such a big part of it, even though that's not all they are, that is a part of their personality. The fact that he pushed so hard for commitment, and they all do because they know it's what you want, that was a red flag. This guy doesn't want commitment anymore. Are you crazy? No way does he want a commitment. So you'll know, right? You'll know. It's up to you who you date if you're out there. You don't have to say no to somebody because they look like trouble. Like I said, I thought I could handle it. If you meet someone who has that swagger and he's a confirmed bachelor and he never settles down, that doesn't mean he's a narcissist. It might just mean that he's playing around. It doesn't mean you can't go out with that person, but know what you're signing up for and be on the lookout if it starts to change. If they start to come out with the signs of being where they're going to drag you through this cycle. You follow what I mean? There's a difference. And if you think a guy is trouble in that player way and you're not up for it, then say no. I'm glad I didn't say no. I wasn't down for what I went through, but I'm glad I learned finally. Because that's a lesson I should have learned a long time ago. And there was no other way I was going to learn it. I think that's exactly why I met that person. So being grateful for having met them makes me more open. When I do decide to date, I'll be open again. And I might just say, you know what, he seems fun. I'm just going to go to dinner. You might be able to handle that. You're a strong individual. Now, if you're not feeling strong and you feel like you still can't identify a narcissist versus a regular person and you think you still might get sucked in by the proper love bombing and you're feeling particularly vulnerable and you're off this narcissistic relationship, that's where I say you might want to take some time to yourself to realign your strength and know that you can handle more than you think. But if you don't think you can handle a player type person and you might start to like them too much and you know they're not the type to settle down, then don't date them. Skip them. You don't have to go on dates. You can go on one a month. I mean, you don't have to do it all at all. But I'm saying, I was trying to see a few different, see how, whatever, I met him. What are you going to do? I really thought I was just going to go on a few dates, see if I could still even date or be interested in it, and boom, I met him. If that's not a sign, boy, I really had some learning to do. And I think that if I met somebody and they came across to me as a player, I may be game again. I don't know. And I would definitely be able to handle a player. I would have been able to handle him if that's all he was. We've all dated players. They're not that hard to handle. You go out, you laugh, you have fun, you leave in an hour. I'm sure I would have been gone in an hour. That's how I normally would date online. This guy, the date lasted 10 hours. Yeah. He was a narcissist from minute one. The love bombing came. Oh yeah, I thought it was a fairy tale. Fairy tale. Now, if that happened, I would say, oh, no, thanks. I'm going home now. Right? But if somebody starts you out on a 10-hour date, you come in spinning, that's a fairy tale. I wasn't prepared. I was prepared for the trouble that a player would have brought me. I was not prepared for the trouble that the narcissist brought me. But I am now. And so are you. We're all learning together. I feel now like I could handle anything that comes my way with grace, and I don't even think I'd lose my temper, because I don't think I'll let it get to the point where I would lose my temper. I think I would keep it in the lane of hardly knowing the person. If anyone exhibits any signs to me, they're not getting past this lane of just getting to know me. They're not coming over here. No. So it's up to you. It's up to all of us what you think you can handle in a person. But if you think from a mile away that this person could be a narcissist, just skip them. You don't have to skip them if they're a player, if that's what you want to do too. Samantha Jones does it. That's your choice. That's entering into something where you have all the information. They're a player, you know it, you can see it, But the narcissist business is nasty, and that's different. And that's not information that they wear on their sleeve. They can come in very cuddly, cunning, charming packages and be a narcissist. So just keep that in mind if you're getting out there dating. There is a difference. The kind of trouble you're maybe accepting for the date might lead to a different kind of trouble. So you have to be on the lookout and have your ears and eyes open for signs. If the guy's adorable and and he has Suave and all this, like, I was going to say Rico Suave, that song from like the 90s. Rico Suave. I remember it. If he's like that, it can be very easy to be sucked in by a very charming person like that. But be on the lookout. Is he starting to love bomb you by the salad? Run. And I mean it. Run. I don't care how cute he is. Don't care. And the problem is, that messes with your mind, because then you think, oh, I'm so special. I'm taming this player. He's going to change for me. He's going to stop philandering about because of me. I've moved him so much that he's going to give up all that cheating that he's been doing for all these years to 2 wives for me. No. The answer is no to all of those questions, Renee. No, he was never going to do any of that stuff. But that can be kind of alluring. You think they're just a player, and then they start love bombing you and future faking you and doing all that, and you're thinking, oh, he must really love me. I, the person Renee Flamand, must really have positively affected this human for him to change his whole way of being for me. No. It's love bombing. And he wasn't just a player, he was a narcissist. A disordered human being. So as you go forth, just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. You can save yourself a lot of trouble, the kind that you don't want. It's okay to sign up for a little bit of trouble that you can handle and that you might want, and you don't want the kind that you don't want.